Welcome back, guys. Welcome to another installment of the Sigma Freestyle series. Today, things are heating up. We're gonna start talking about the power phase, okay? Last video, we talked about the catch of the stroke and initiating into that power diamond. If you haven't seen it, make sure to go back and check out the catch video. Now we're getting into the continuation of the power phase and what we do under the water. We talked about back in the kicking video that the legs are the engine. However, the arms are the powertrain. They're the wheels in the car. They're what allow us to accelerate and continue accelerating through our races. They allow us to maintain our swimming over longer distances. Obviously, if we put all the stress on our legs, it's gonna be a lot more difficult than if we're using our whole body together. Now with the power phase, that's essentially everything from the catch to the finish. We are going to talk about the finish of the stroke in the next video, so stay tuned. But for today, focusing on pretty much everything underneath you. What you want to focus on is continuing that power diamond and that high elbow catch. I like to think about a glass wall in the middle of my body. I'm starting from my catch, and as I'm entering into the power diamond, I'm following this glass wall all the way down through my rotation, okay? Focusing on rotating like we've talked about in the past, tying everything together, finishing my catch through my rotation, into the power diamond, and then eventually into the end of stroke. All of this cannot happen as functionally for not applying the tools that we've learned previously in this series, including the streamline, including body position, including following that glass wall, and following the high elbow catch like we've talked about before. All of these things are gonna tie together to create a good, powerful freestyle. Now, there's some things to watch out for that a lot of people tend to have faults with. One of those is pulling too narrow or too wide. Okay, first, pulling too narrow, you're crossing the body. Used to work maybe 40 years ago in the Mark Spitz era. Now, more frowned upon partially for shoulder pain, and it's not gonna give us the same level of pull. Then there's pulling wide. If you're pulling outside your body, you're shortening the length of the stroke that you can truly get because you're just getting this short angle as opposed to being able to come all the way through from the top of your stroke to the bottom. There's also the straight arm pull, so once again, focusing on that high elbow catch and anchor into the power diamond. You want to maintain that. If you go straight arm, you're going to push down, push back, then push up, and you're gonna lose a lot of efficiency. You wanna focus on that for shoulder health to really take care of your body and focus on what you need to do. Now, once again, going back, you need to tie everything together, focusing on your body line, straightening out, power diamond all the way through, and then you're gonna have a really comfortable freestyle. Now we're gonna talk about a really helpful tool to use in the water to help build muscles and make your swimming stronger and improve the power phase. Today we're gonna talk about paddles. These paddles, which you put on like so, I personally like the ones that have just the finger strap and not the wrist strap because it doesn't allow you to cheat in your stroke. We'll talk a little bit more about that in future lessons, but for right now, putting the hand in the paddle, strap on like this. Other one's floating away from me here. Paddles on, and you're going to use these to just swim freestyle. Now, a lot of people have a little bit of resistance when they do it at first. It's gonna be a little hard if you're a little bit weaker, but as you continue to use paddles, it's going to get easier because you yourself are gonna continue to get stronger. I just like using them. They've been used for years. I know in my entire swimming career, we used paddles plenty to work our freestyle, especially for long distance swimming. I think it's a great option. You can also use a pull buoy, which you could put between your legs to act as a flotation device, and then you're going to be able to swim where you're just focusing on your arms, okay? So that is pulling, okay? These paddles are gonna help you build strength, especially learn your power phase, because if you're moving your hands all sorts of which ways, the paddle's going to let you know because it's going to start coming off. Nothing else is different. There's nothing to it. You just have to focus on swimming. Now, putting these paddles back on, it's just going to look like this. It's still going to be regular freestyle. You're working on catching through your stroke, okay? Being focused on the power phase, on the good catch, on the nice strong pull, Okay, notice with good rotation, good catch. With the buoy, I'll show you floating. All the tools allow you to float, allow you to pull better, allow you to get stronger, and hopefully, if you have access to these, you can use them, it's escaping me again, as a great tool to continue to build muscle and get stronger in your freestyle. We'll talk about drills next. And so now we're back with the second half of the video where we're gonna look to implement some of these drills to attack our power phase and to really master some of these skills. Just rewinding a little bit, I wanna go back and talk about a little bit of our focuses. That's not being too wide, not being too narrow, not having an S across our body, focusing on that good power diamond, and also focusing on a good high elbow catch all the way through the stroke. So for the first drill that we're gonna work on today, it's called pump, pump, pull. Now it's got a funny name, so just bear with me. The way it's going to work is you're gonna be basically kicking on your side, one arm up, and all you're going to do is take 2 quick high elbow catches, and then on the third one, you're gonna come all the way through into a full stroke, making sure to finish all the way to the back. Does that make sense? Okay, so we're gonna go one arm going down, the other arm coming back. All good? Okay, whenever you're ready. And so the big focus with this is still continuing to have a nice high elbow catch. We talked about it in the last video, is really focusing on getting into that high elbow. That isn't going to stop through our power phase. That high elbow catch needs to transition into that power diamond, working on getting all the way through. Awesome job. Now today we're also using a snorkel, which is completely optional. We'll talk about it in another video about all the different gear that you can use. For the sake of focusing on a good high elbow catch, we're just using a snorkel today to really, really nail down some of these skills. Awesome job. Really nice. So after we work into the pump, pump, pull, we're gonna do another drill called no recovery freestyle. So the recovery that we're naturally told to do, going over the water, is not gonna apply here. Everything is going to be completely underneath us. So you're gonna go from end to end, focusing on a good rotation and body line, getting a nice high elbow catch, and that other arm is going to recover completely underneath you. So you're going to be reaching out all the way underneath, good high elbow catch and power phase, nice under your body recovery, hands basically like ships passing in the night, if that makes sense.
Got it.
Okay, awesome, whenever you're ready. Okay. We'll talk more about it in the finished video, but you really want to focus on getting all the way end to end, getting your hand all the way to the top, all the way to the bottom. In this instance, using the snorkel, you can really, really focus on your arm path, focusing on staying near that glass wall and going all the way down, all the way to the end, past your hips. And just to remind everyone, if you're struggling a little bit with this and you haven't mastered some of the steps before, make sure to go back and master a lot of those things before moving into the high elbow catch, before moving into the power phase. Awesome, great job. And now lastly, to finish up our power phase video, we're gonna use the aforementioned paddles. We're just gonna do simple freestyle. They're a great tool to use if you're struggling with your catch or if you're trying to build strength. We're just gonna use paddles and just do regular freestyle, nothing else special to it. Just nice, good, high elbow catch, working on the anchor with the paddles. Sound good?
Sounds
awesome, let's get started. You're gonna find such an added power with paddles that you might not have had before. However, it might also be more tiring because we haven't developed some of those muscles. The biggest thing to focus on is just what those paddles can do for you underneath. If it feels wrong, then it very well might be. And so that's what the paddles can offer you. And all the things that we've talked about today, all the things we've demonstrated today, tie together to give us a really nice high elbow catch and power phase. Third step of the power phase is coming up next. That's the end of stroke and the finish. So stay tuned, guys.
Thanks for watching today's video. If you liked it, be sure to subscribe, share, ring the bell, comment with any questions. If you're in the DFW area and you'd like more information on swim lessons or swim team, be sure to visit www.sigmaswim.org.